I'm interviewing Mr. Adrian Cafuentes in his office. He is an alumnus from Cerritos College, a successful realtor, and at the same time my mentor. Mr. Adrian Cafuentes, may I call you Adrian in this interview and record it?
Sure.
Thank you. Adrian, what a leader does it mean to you?
What does a leader mean to me? Well, see, a leader is somebody that is willing to think outside of the box, somebody that's willing to do for others and to help others grow, somebody that's willing to take people under their wing without hurting people's emotions or without hurting their integrity. Basically, somebody that's humble enough to teach others and to help them succeed.
Who are the leaders who become your favorite and why?
Well, I have many, the first one is, I'm a Christian man, so my first leader is going to be my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Right.
Believe it or not, he left us with a lot of good chunks and gold nuggets of wisdom from his scriptures. And that would be my first favorite leader, obviously, to have. But I believe that you can have different leaders and different mentors in different aspects of your life.
Yeah.
For example, you mentioned that I'm in the real estate business, which I am. I do have a leader that helps me grow in my business. I have other leaders that I look up to and in different aspects of my life. And it's just finding that person that's very influential to you, somebody who can trigger certain emotions and trigger things within you to allow you to excel in whatever you're doing. In this case, you are completing your education in college, so you need to look for whom that person that's most influential to you and to your peers that's going to help you grow and accomplish that certain goal.
Yeah.
So, I think, I can list a long list of who my favorite, leaders are, but I must say that to you personally, I would say that the most influential person in whatever it is you're doing, that should be the person you should grasp on and hold on to as your leader.
Oh,
that makes sense?
Yes,
okay.
Thank you. Every leader faces difficulties, criticism, and blame by opponents or by his followers. If you have the opportunity to become leaders, for example in business, church, or environment, whether you like to become a leader with all the risks and why?
Well, I think that's a good question. That's a real deep question. And I think you're right. When you become a leader, you're stepping out from the pack. Because I believe that a leader is somebody that's willing to go against the current.
Yeah.
Okay, and not really being part of the masses, if you will. Somebody that's willing to step out and be part of something great. And I think you're right in the fact that when you do that, you're different than most people. And some people may not take that so well. So it's a risk that not a lot of people are willing to take. That's why you see a lot of people that are not leaders and they're more like of a follower source. And either or is fine. If you don't have the capability of being a leader and leading in whatever it is you're doing, I think we shouldn't judge those that do not lead and follow, because like we talked about in the question before, I do follow some leaders myself.
Yes.
And I do feel like I've become a leader in some aspects of what I do, but at the same time I'm humble enough to be able to become also a follower and follow certain leaders and role models that I look up to. So to answer your question, I would like to become a leader in certain aspects of my life, and I believe that I'm already a leader in some aspects of my life, and they have come with risks and opposition, and sometimes people may think or take it the wrong way when sometimes what you really want to do is good for others. So yeah, I would like to become a leader in certain aspects, and I would be willing to take some of the risks involved with it.
Oh yeah, it's good for you. Yeah. Can you share your experience as a leader?
Well, I think one of the hardest things to go through is the fact that when you become a leader, you're also a human being, and you also come with weaknesses. And sometimes it's so hard to try to bottle up or hide the weaknesses from whomever is looking up to you and following you.
Yes.
But the fact of it is that you have to be willing to share with others that you also have mistakes and that you're also not perfect. And that's part of becoming a leader, I think, is being able to share with the people who are following you,
Right.
or who look up to you, and to tell them, hey, look, I'm human as well, and I do have challenges, and I do have, mixed emotions about certain things. So the experience of going through those emotions, you have to be willing to open them up to others instead of bottling them up and making it sound like you're macho man.
Right.
Do you understand?
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, some experiences that I've had within the real estate industry is that I've been blessed with the opportunity to be considered as a coach within this company. We have over 100 agents, and every new agent that comes in this company, my broker here puts them through me for coaching.
Yeah.
So they have to spend at least 3 months with me, and I basically coach them. I teach them how to show property, I teach them how to list the property, how to communicate better with other people, and basically how to structure a transaction for new agents. And believe it or not, it's not hard at all, but there's a certain chemistry to putting one together.
So they can learn a lot of things from you.
And as a leader, sometimes, believe it or not, I'm not the greatest teacher. I have a lot of faults, and I'm impatient. So that's kind of like a struggle and an experience put together, because at the same time, I don't want to hurt this person's feeling, but you can. And I really admire, if you're a teacher and you're watching this, I really admire what you guys do. It's unbelievable. I think I would be a good teacher, but I just wouldn't have the patience for it. And that's something that I pray for every day, that God gives me some patience to be able to transfer my knowledge to another person, because that you're giving to them. And so the experience and the struggle that I'm going through makes it hard, because sometimes I feel like this person is a knucklehead and doesn't want to listen to me. And I tell them, this is what you do, and they don't want to listen to it. Maybe I get a little frustrated or aggravated by the process. And then I get into my personal emotions, and they come out, and they may come out the wrong way, where now I'm no longer a leader. Right? Now this person is upset, thinking, wait a minute, you're supposed to be teaching me, instead you're scolding me, or you're putting me down. So that's another struggle and experience that I've been going through as I help other agents here grow. Does that make sense? Okay.
You are a good leader because you transmit something to your followers.
And that's another thing. Good thing you mentioned that, is that transfer of enthusiasm to that other person to do something. Like in your case, like when I was in college, I wasn't lucky like you guys to have what you guys have, the system that you guys have, and all the tools that you guys have. I didn't have that. My counselor told me to go work at a warehouse. How upsetting is that? I won't give you the name, but I mean, that's very upsetting to know that he couldn't transfer enthusiasm into me to keep going and to keep fighting. I had to find it somewhere else. So thank you, everyone, for mentioning that, because in a leader, you have to be able to transfer that energy to this next person to do something great. Because I believe that we all have potential, all of us, individual potential. But if you don't explode it, and if somebody doesn't help you pull it out of you, you'll never see it. There's a lot of people that are, just living their life one day at a time, paycheck to paycheck, unwilling to learn and to educate themselves. And I think it's a shame, because we all have potential to do great things.
You're right.
So, right?
Right.
So, awesome.
The last question. In English 100 class, I've just read about Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King. They were great leaders. They did not become weak and discouraged in carrying out their role as leaders. I conclude that they have strengths beyond their own abilities that help them to succeed as leaders. I think that good and successful leaders always have the maturity in their spiritual life. How do you think about the relationship between a good leader and his spiritual life?
Well, that's another great question. Thank you for asking that. I think, and I don't want to get religious with you or with anybody else, because I know it's a touchy subject. But I think a spiritual life and who we are here as human beings is very important to put together.
Yeah.
Because I believe it's a law.
Yeah.
Like the law of gravity.
Yeah.
Whatever goes up must come down. Same thing in your spiritual life. Whether you accept it or not, there's a spiritual realm that we are part of.
Yeah.
Because none of us are eternal. I mean, look what just happened in Japan. The
Yes.
disaster.
Yeah.
All these families that are suffering in Japan right now. And we should be praying for them.
Yeah.
That God gives them strength to overcome this. But they lost everything
Yes.
in a snap of fingers.
Yes.
I just saw an interview of this man who lost his wife, 2 kids, and mother, I think, and was left with nothing, completely wiped out, no home, no nothing.
Yeah.
So we can't just keep living our lives thinking that we have control and we have power.
Yes.
There's in fact, we just talked about this yesterday. I don't know if you can see it, but this here says BYC, which is beyond your control, and this sphere is your IYC, which is in your control.
Oh.
And what we're supposed to do with this is we're supposed to really think about and write down what's in our control.
Yeah.
What's beyond our control, like a natural disaster.
Yeah.
And then write down what's in our control.
Mm-hmm.
And as leaders, and as a human being, we should spend our time focusing on things that are in our control.
Yeah.
Versus things that are beyond our control, that we have no control of.
Yeah.
And be able to react to things that happen that are beyond our control in a positive manner. Now, I have a spiritual relationship with my Lord and Savior.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not asking you to have the same.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what your religious belief is, and I respect it, and whatever it is, that's fine. I don't want to get religious.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, like I talked about the law of gravity, I think there's a law that we need to be connected to our spiritual source.
Right.
And in order to become even greater,
Yeah.
you become greater when you are connected to that spiritual source, because in a sense you're saying, I don't belong to myself.
Yeah.
I am detached from myself. And that's the truth. I can get on the freeway right now and then boom, there's a car accident and I'm
Right.
gone. Same like you, same like everyone, like anybody here.
We don't know.
We don't know this.
Yeah.
So we have to be humble enough to acknowledge that there is a spiritual realm. And whether or not you want to be part of it, that's totally up to you.
Yeah.
So thank you for asking that. I do have a very spiritual bond with God and with what I believe. And I think that allows me to become even better in what I do.
That's very important.
Yeah, it is very important.
Because we have power from...
Power from above.
Yeah. This is my interview with Mr. Adrian Cafuentes. Thank you very much for the opportunity to interview that you gave to me.
Thank you, and thank you guys for considering me. Appreciate it.
Well, you done me and you bet I felt it. I tried to beat you, but you're so hot that I melted. I fell right through the cracks, and now I'm trying to get back.